So my name is Kira and I was diagnosed with hidradenitis suppurativa about 2 months ago, and at the time I was in the midst of a really horrific flare-up. I had 18 cysts on my underarm, which was so painful I could barely lift my arm, and over the last 2 months I've been experimenting with different things, and honestly since I've tried these things there have been no more flare-ups. And I remember when I was first diagnosed, I really struggled to find information online. And of course, a lot of doctors aren't so aware of hidradenitis suppurativa. So I was really struggling to come up with a plan of action, which is why I wanted to share this video with some tips about what worked for me. Now, obviously you can't get prescription medication yourself, but the reason I'm giving information on this is because when I actually returned to the UK, my GP wasn't aware of the condition, wasn't aware of the protocol. So by having a little bit of information beforehand that I'd found online, I was able to sort of suggest what I should be prescribed, which she then looked up and confirmed. So in terms of prescriptions, I was taking doxycycline, which is a tetracycline antibiotic, and I was taking 100 milligrams twice a day for the first 10 days, and then just once a day for 20 days thereafter. However, because I saw such rapid improvement in my symptoms and I didn't want to build up any kind of resistance to it, with permission and after speaking to my GP, we finished the treatment after 2 weeks, which is in the UK what is standard protocol for hidradenitis suppurativa. So yeah, that was good. The only issues with doxycycline are you can't really spend much time in the sun because your skin gets really sensitive to sun rays, and also it can mess with your stomach a bit, but I didn't find that, so don't be terrified by all the horror stories you hear online about it. Now, on top of the oral antibiotics, I also used clindamycin. This is in the Cyrillic alphabet, but yes, that's what it is, clindamycin, which is a topical gel which I applied twice a day. For the duration there was a flare-up, and then I stopped using when the flare-up disappeared. Now a lot of people continue to use the clindamycin like all the time to maintain, but I am very nervous about building up resistance, as I said before, and it seemed to really work to sort of get the flare down, and as I haven't had a flare since, I think this method of just using it when I flare up is working for me. So in terms of hygiene, there's a really common misconception that hidradenitis suppurativa is caused by uncleanliness, which isn't true at all. However, keeping the skin where you're affected as clear as possible from potentially harmful bacteria is going to sort of alleviate your symptoms. So the holy grail for hidradenitis sufferers is Hibiscrub, which I think is called Hibiclens in America. But it's basically a soap they use on people prior to surgery to really like clear the skin. It has chlorhexidine gluconate in it, so yeah, that's going to kill any harmful bacteria. The only thing is, this is not for regular use. It's super drying on your skin and quite harsh as well, so I will only use this if I have a flare-up every other day, and at the moment I'm using it once every 2 weeks to just sort of maintain my flare-less state. But to counteract the dryness, I'm also using this just daily to shower, which is aqueous cream, and it's super moisturising and it's not technically a soap, so you avoid a lot of the drying or irritating agents that are found in soaps. So I found this to be super good for that. I do also use this Dove Micellar sensitive skin soap, which again is unscented. As I mentioned, it's really important to have unscented things because the chemicals used to give these things their scent can really irritate your skin, which can exacerbate the symptoms of hidradenitis. So every day, the first thing I do when I wake up is I wash, and then right before bed, I think sweating and sweat is a big trigger for me. So by keeping myself as sweat-free as possible, I think it's been helping. I also use this when I'm using the clindamycin, and this is just over-the-counter acne cream that I got in Boots. It's acne-side, but what is the active ingredient is benzoyl peroxide. Now the important thing with benzoyl peroxide is to, if you are using your clindamycin, also use it with benzoyl peroxide, because that's going to help reduce the chances of antibiotic resistance. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I'm going to trust the doctors on that one. And in terms of deodorant, this one I found works for me. Before I knew what hidradenitis was, I was noticing what I assumed was irritation and an allergic reaction to lots of deodorants I was trying. But this is antiperspirant and deodorant, and it's unscented, and I'm just finding it to be an absolute godsend. Perhaps the hardest thing that I'm doing in terms of a lifestyle shift is that I'm currently on the autoimmune protocol diet. Now what this is basically restricting yourself from having any inflammatory foods, and then you gradually reintroduce these potentially triggering foods in order to establish what is triggering for you. So there's an elimination phase, which is around 30 days, and I'm currently on day 22 of that, and then there's a reintroduction stage. So at the moment what I can eat is basically meat, fish, vegetables excluding nightshades, so no peppers, no tomatoes, no eggplants, no potatoes, and fruit, but in limited amounts just to keep my sugar low. So yeah, I'm finding, as I said, I haven't flared since, so I think it's working out for me. But it is very tricky to do. Even certain oils and things like pepper are restricted, so it makes going out to eat really difficult. But at the same time, I think it's good for me in that it's really encouraging me to try a range of lovely fresh fruit and veggies. And in line with the AOP diet, it's important to note that it's recommended as like a whole lifestyle change. So in line with that, I've been making sure that I get like at least 8 hours sleep every night. I've been making sure that I try and minimize my stress, although minimizing stress is difficult, and I'm one of those people that just can't meditate, so that's really tricky for me. But I have just been mindful of situations that I'm exposing myself to, and some things that may have been fun but a little bit stressful at the same time for me. I'm just avoiding until I get a handle on things a bit more. I'm drinking loads of water, like 3 litres minimum a day. And then in terms of exercise, I know exercise really helps, but for me I'm quite nervous about sweating at the moment. So whereas I used to do like an hour's quite intense session, but every other day, I'm now sort of just doing half an hour a day, but spaced out with breaks in between, so that I'm still targeting those bits of the body that, you know, need a little boosting, but I'm not getting overheated and sweating. So I've been taking probiotics, and this was initially to help with the side effects of the doxycycline, which of course rids your stomach and your gut of all useful bacteria. So this was at first just to replenish that, but I found, you know, some articles online saying that probiotics are also good to help the symptoms of hidradenitis suppurativa itself. So yeah, I've also been taking zinc, and this is just 10 milligrams, but I've been taking 4 of these a day, so 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. I based my dosage on the fact that there was an article online saying that I think 90 milligrams in participants in this trial daily who had stage 3 was enough to help some of them go into remission. But I also read that you shouldn't really exceed 50 milligrams a day for zinc. So I decided that like 40 a day was a good trial run, and it's been working for me so far. I also take turmeric, and this was sort of the #1 recommended supplement that I saw online when I was doing my research. Turmeric has anti-inflammatory properties, so it's really good for that sort of immune system regulation. And again, I take that once a day in the morning. With all of these supplements, I prefer to take them with food, so that's just something to note. Now, there are some things that I haven't mentioned here that I haven't tried yet, but I will potentially try and maybe keep everyone updated if they're curious. I want to get laser hair removal because for me anyway, all the sites I'm flaring up at are areas that I would typically shave. So for now I've stopped shaving, and I want to see if laser hair removal will help me maintain this lack of flares. Another thing is that I know the combined contraceptive pill has been very useful for a lot of women, especially those who flare around their period, which I typically do. The thing with me is that I can't take the combined pill because I have migraines with aura, so that's why I'm trying to manage my risks in other ways. Also, obviously, things like diet and exercise interacts with your body's hormone regulation. So I'm thinking if I'm strict with myself on those things, it will help me balance out the areas that I can't control. But yeah, this is just like a quick whistle-stop tour of everything I'm doing to maintain my my status now. And yeah, I hope this is useful to people. I know it's a really tricky illness to navigate, but yeah, I think I'll be sort of tracking my progress and my story and sharing any useful information I find on this channel, so please subscribe if that's something you'd be interested in. And yeah, I'd love to chat to you guys about your experiences too, so please leave any questions or any comments down below. Thank you.